Oh man, do I have a game for you. I played this game last night. It is beyond epic. Totally amazing. Alright. I have Azami, the deck that always gets epic games because it's kind of bad, against Stonebrow, Croson Hero, mediocre red-green commander. Even though this guy's deck is pretty dubious, the way that the situation unfolds makes it pretty exciting. I keep this draw. I mulligan to one lander, I think. I keep it just because I've got Coalition Relic, even though my lands suck. Azami just hates to draw islands for some reason. Anyway, here we go. He's going first. So he suspends his Search for Tomorrow, which sort of throws away the whole Strip Mine stall plan. I do draw Teleria West, at least to get some blue mana. Plays that thing. And I play my blue mana elf. So I have a hand with very little synergy in it right now. Shackles with no islands, Snapcaster with no instants. Pretty crappy. And he's meanwhile ramping up to 5 quickly. At least I draw this guy right now to stall. It does shut off my whole Coalition Relic Strip Mine plan, which is what I was going to do. And then throw out Tezzeret. So I just play Martyr Frost instead to stall his commander coming down. Can put these blue cards in my hand to some use, even if they're uncastable. He plays Fervor. Pretty interesting, but pretty good with his commander. And he plays Wood Elves, and I decide, rather than just sitting on Martyr Frost, he's going to have enough mana to cast this guy if I don't draw a blue card anyway, and I'm not going to win the game just sitting here, so I just counter it. Just slow him down a little bit. Draw my Relic, and I decide to get rid of that land. That at least makes his guy a 6/6 when it attacks instead of a 7/7, which, as we all know, is quite a big difference. It's an entire turn. I had the option to cast the Mana Vault here. Might have actually, in retrospect, might have been a decent idea because I could have gone Vault and then untap, cast Tezzeret, and immediately untap both artifacts. But the thing is, I'm going to be facing down the 6/6 trampling guy with no real way to stop it. So playing Tezzeret doesn't really accomplish a lot short of probably just, I don't know, getting Soul Ring, getting some source of blue mana. It's just not a good situation all the way around, mainly because of trample. So I can't, like, you know, steal the elf and block with it and things like that. So now this guy comes down. I get bashed for a lot, for 8. I've played against Stonebrow a few other times in the past, and it always seems like it just beats the shit out of me. Like I wind up winning the game with like 5 life points. You just take a lot of damage from it. So I decided to play Azami instead of Tezzeret. Tezzeret I just don't see accomplishing very much right now. I'd much rather just draw some cards. And now Fervor's really going to start causing some issues. I drew 2 cards there just to see if I could hit a Force of Will to throw away the Snapcaster to stop Kabu Titan, because Kabu Titan gets boosted by Stonebrow also. So I get walloped here. 15 damage. Like he's literally killing me next turn. At least I have enough islands to... okay, so I do see Cyclonic Rift off this, which at least gives me some temporary opportunity to forestall the beatings, but it's going to be a hard battle clawing my way out of this. I'm already so low. You know, you have 40 life in Commander, you kind of expect that you're invincible to damage, but when your opponent is attacking you with hasted 15, your life total doesn't really last very long. So my main hope at this point is really to just try to draw a bunch of cards and maybe hit Bribery, where I can steal some much larger creature. You know, some big dragon or something that can kill his commander and block the other one. But I'm not really liking my prospects much right now at all. I was really hoping he'd cast something, given that he's got Fervor in play. He'd like tap 6 mana and cast something else, and I could Cyclonic Rift, which would be huge. Unfortunately, I have to just cast it right now. And then he forks it. So random. I mean, in a way, I'm kind of happy about that because it returns the Mana Vault to my hand. But I do not like having two of my mana sources unsummoned as well as Azami. And 4 copies the Overload, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, I think he was really greedy here, replaying the Elf. I mean, I guess I understand his... because he's got 3 mana, he can just recast his Fervor and do it next turn. But I do play counter spells, and this thing's just not as dangerous as the 6/6 Trampler. I draw a Metamorph. So I have to think a long time about what I'm going to do here, like what the course of action is. And I realize that I'm going to just have to try to develop my mana some more and try to use Void Mage Prodigy to keep stuff off the board. So I know I can tap the Vault because I do have Tezzeret as an emergency untapping device for it. But this is a terrible situation. He's got almost enough mana to play both of his guys with haste. So he plays the Titan. And I think about it for a long time, and I realize that without being boosted by his other guy, it's not quite as dangerous. And so as much as it pains me, I have to let it go. I'm also thinking at this point I have got 3 islands in play, and I've got Shackles in my hand. So if I get lucky and I draw into 2 more islands quickly, I can take the Kavu before I die to it. I just have to take 6. And he just says go, not wanting to get his commander countered for some reason, even though he could just replay it the next turn. So this is an interesting draw here. I get the Wayfarer's Bauble. I think a long time about all the possible angles here. Obviously I need to keep 2 blue untapped in order to counter the commander. I also need to, getting so low at this point, getting down to 2 means that I die to any burn spell, and he's playing red-green. So I think for a long time I think about playing Tezzeret and untapping the Vault and playing the Metamorph to copy my Relic to get more mana. A lot of different options. I just tap and untap while I'm thinking. Finally I just cast the Bauble and say go, because I discovered another play while looking a little deeper into the board state. I have Snapcaster Mage, which is a wizard, and enough mana with all this stuff to use my Cyclonic Rift during combat. So now he does play Stonebrow. I cast Snapcaster, flashback the Rift, sack the Snapcaster to counter that guy. And now I have the Rift also, so I only take 1 here. And granted, this is like stalling a, almost inevitable death, because I need to get to, I do have the Bauble out though, but I need to get to 5 islands to steal this guy. I have to take another damage. And here is the pivotal turn. This is what it all comes down to. I'm at 6, and I just drew Mana Crypt against red-green. What do you do? What do you do? There's a quote from Lord of the Rings. I think it's I think it's from Return of the King, where all the guys are sitting around in whatever the horse city is, I think. I don't remember the name of it, but the little hut in the horse city, and they're discussing their plans about how they're going to get Frodo and Sam to reach Mount Doom safely. And they realize that the only chance that they have is to go to the gates of Mordor and sort of call out the entire army to distract it. And Gimli says something to the effect of, certain death, small chance of success, what are we waiting for? I think that's one of those situations right here. Certainly if I don't play the Mana Crypt, the math just doesn't work out here. I have no outs at all. I can't copy Kavu Titan and get a creature of any consequence. There's really nothing that I can do. So I decide instead to just play the Crypt and gamble. Okay, I had to pause there. Sorry about that. Hopefully this resumes okay. So anyway, I play Mana Crypt knowing that it's my absolutely last chance to win this game, which is integral part of getting Tezzeret into play. And that gets me to untap the Vault. And now I can play Shackles. Because I need to keep the mana open for Void Mage Prodigy. I still need to counter his commander to have any prayer at all of winning this game, which is why I have to play the Crypt. I needed to have, it worked out that the only way to develop and stave off death, because I'm going to take 6 next turn, either way, if I don't steal the Farhaven Elf. If I steal the Farhaven Elf, then I can block the Kavu and take only 4. But I mean, I figure my odds of winning this game are like roughly 5% at this point, maybe even worse, given that he's red-green. So he declares combat first, I steal his elf, and then he sends his Kavu at Tezzeret. He sends his Kavu at Tezzeret instead of at me, when I'm at 6 with a Mana Crypt in play. Unbelievable. So I declare a block, and he decides to cast Starstorm. And since I need Tezzeret to survive here, obviously I just counter that since it's going to kill Void Mage Prodigy anyway. So the trample reduces Tezzeret to 1. I'm still at 6. And he casts Rada. And he miscounted also, I think, because his plan was to cast Rada, use Rada for 3, 4, 5, 6, but his commander cost 7. So if he had cast his commander here, I would have died too. But whatever. Actually, well, not necessarily. I've got the shackles in this thing, so. Alright, so here it comes. Moment of truth. I'm at 6. Flip 1. I'm still at 6. I have to untap this thing, because I don't know if I'm up against burn or whatever. It doesn't really make a difference, because I've got Tezzeret in play. I draw Spell Crumple, which is a hell of a draw right now, given that he didn't cast his commander last turn. So I cast Azami, and my hope here, because I've got the Crypt and the Vault as backup, my hope here is to draw into an island. It's all going to come down to drawing an island. Tap Azami, island. Booyah! Untap both artifacts. Cast Scryer. And I have enough mana still to use Shackles, sack the Wayfarer's Bauble, and Crumple. So before combat, there he goes, Stonebrow. Get another island. Crumple it. Gone from game. Steal the Titan. Look at this. Unreal. Now, I far from won the game here. I draw Mox at the end of the turn. Crypt flip. 1. You know what, though? When I think about it, I didn't win that flip. This is where the replay crashes. I reviewed it last night to see if it was actually even worth recording, and if I had enough of the game to, if I even had enough of the game to warrant it. I didn't draw Mox Diamond there, actually, almost certainly. And I actually lost that coin flip. So I lost the coin flip, and I go to 3. This is what happens afterward. I don't know why it's having me do this stuff like during mains. Like I didn't draw during my upkeep or anything, but okay. So what happens at this point is, I think it's either Mox Diamond or Treachery is. I think it's Treachery. It's Trinket Mage. So I cast Trinket Mage and I get Sensei's Divining Top, because at this point, now that I'm at 3, I have to get. I did not draw Merchant Scroll for sure, because that would have, of course, got me out of this jam 100%. I could just Merchant Scroll for Into the Royal and get the Crypt back into my hand and be fine. But what I actually did was I cast Trinket Mage and got Sensei's Divining Top, because I needed to dig as far as I could. And off the top, I saw Magus of the Future. I saw Chrome Mox and I think an Island. So I drew a card with the top and put Magus of the Future, or drew Magus of the Future, cast Magus of the Future, replayed the top, replayed the Chrome Mox, removing a Daze from my hand, which is I think what I drew instead of Merchant Scroll, and used a little bit more mana to draw a few extra cards, hoping to get into the Royal, and I didn't get it. But I believe I drew into a counter spell. I didn't have Cryptic Command, I didn't have Into the Royal. I basically have to flip at 3 life. So it's just gonna like cast some arbitrary spells here. And see, I said, man, wish I was at 4. I thought about the turn for a while. You can see how much time went off my clock right there. I thought for a long time about what I was going to do. And then I say to my opponent, man, wish I was at 4, because I had just lost the 3 life flip. So it goes back to his turn. And he's just casting some bug thing. So this is it. We go back to my turn. And he says, come on, dice. During my upkeep, I win the roll at 3. So there I am. He frowns, and I can't believe it. And we've got more bugs. But anyway, at this point, I'm drawing tons of extra cards now off of all my wizards. I've got 4 wizards in play. And I also have Future Sight and Top. And a few cards down, I see Force of Will and Umezawa's Jitte. So I cast the Jitte, put Jitte on the Kavu Titan and attack, and get counters on it, at which point I'm back up to 7 life with two counter spells in my hand, Future Sight, Top, game over. Winning an absolutely unwinnable game thanks to putting Mana Crypt in play and giving myself a chance to win the game. I'm really, really sorry that the replay bugs at the end, but you get a general sense of what happens. Hope you enjoyed it. One of the best games I have played in a long time.